Yeah, the access is granted. I think you can share it now. Yeah.
Yeah, I can share it. Option is coming.
Okay then. I'll talk to you after the class.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay. See you. Bye.
All right. Hi, Srivatsan.
Morning, sir.
Good morning. How are you?
Fine, sir.
Fine. I'm good too, man. I'm good too. So, yeah, Srivatsan, feel free to ask me any doubts you have. Nobody has joined yet, so
Sir, none.
yeah, doubts from other chapters also you can ask me.
None that I have right now, sir.
Nothing right now. Okay, okay. So next time, if you want to clear your doubts or something, you just come a few minutes earlier. We can sort it out.
Sure,
Okay,
sir.
just let me know whenever you're there.
Yes,
I
sir.
haven't joined yet.
All right, sir.
We'll wait for like a couple of minutes maximum, and then we'll start anyway.
Okay.
And waste your time also. This is recorded, right? Yeah. So let's begin the class anyway. Okay. All right. Can you see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Both of you can see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Right. Okay. So as of now, there are three of us. So both of you, I expect you guys to reply, all right? So be active. Okay. So one second. Okay, if you guys don't mind, can you put your video on? Like we can do a one-on-one session, like so you can ask me your doubts. I can see how you understood. So let's begin the class anyway, okay? We'll give them the recording, those who haven't joined yet. Right. So last class we were doing modulus functions, right? How did mod behave? Mod x, how does it behave? It has a very peculiar behavior whenever the thing inside the modulus sign breaks. Or when I say break, it means whenever the thing inside the modulus sign equal to 0. So over there, the property of mod x can be seen. You can see how the mod x definition changes. Till here, it was minus x. After that, it becomes x. All right. For x greater than equal to 0, minus x for x less than 0. Okay. All right. So this was mod x. And we were learning a few properties based on this. Right. So, okay. So the idea of critical point, all of you got, right? And then suppose I give you a question like this, x plus 1 plus mod of x plus 2 plus mod of x plus 3 equal to 5. How do we solve such a question? Right. So what do you do in these cases when you have multiple mods?
Find the critical point in each mod.
Single point.
Exactly, is okay. So you'll have to look at the point minus 1, minus 2, and minus 3 here. Okay, the critical points. The idea is that these points will divide the line into 4 different pieces. Okay. Now these 4 different pieces are there, right? So each piece, for each value of x you put in any of these 4 pieces, there will be a difference in the behavior. So if I take a value lesser than minus 3, what happens? If I take a value of x lesser than minus 3, what happens? Then this becomes negative. This becomes negative, and this also becomes negative. So it becomes minus 3x minus 6, okay, equal to 5 when x is less than equal to 3. Between minus 3 and 2, what happens? And minus 2, what happens? This becomes positive. Okay, so this remains x plus 3. The remaining becomes minus x plus 2 and minus x minus 2. So sorry, minus x minus 1. All right. So then this becomes 1 minus 1, 0. Okay. Equal to 5. So what do we get here? X equal to 5 here. Let that be. And then here we get x equal to 11 by minus 3. Minus 11 by 3. And then next area, if I take it in this area, what happens? These two become positive and this becomes minus x minus 1. Got that? Right. So this becomes 4. This becomes x equal to 5. X is equal to 1. Okay. When x is between minus 2 and minus 1. Okay. So minus 2 I didn't include here. I'll include it here. Right. Next. What happens here? When x is greater than minus 1. When x is greater than minus 1, all of them become positive. Right. So when x is greater than equal to minus 1, I'll put it that way because it was only less than minus 1 here. X greater than equal to minus 1. What will it give me? Guys, what will x greater than equal to minus 1 give me? It gives me that all of them are positive. So I get 3x plus 6 equal to 5. X, 3x equal to minus 1. X equal to minus 1 by 3. Okay. So how many solutions do we get? Yes, how many solutions?
4, sir.
Okay. The rest of you, are you here?
Yes, sir. 4.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So 4 will be the wrong answer. Why? Why will 4 be the wrong answer? Look, I wanted you to guess 4. That's why I circled 4 times. Okay. All right. So why is 4 the wrong answer? Because I said when x is greater than or equal to minus 1, x is equal to minus 1 by 3. Is minus 1 by 3 greater than or equal to minus 1?
No, sir.
No. So this solution is out. Now, next one. X is equal to 1 when x is between minus 2 and minus 1. Is this valid?
No, sir.
No. Correct. Absolutely. What about this one? X is between minus 3 and minus 2. Here I get x equal to 5. Is this valid?
No.
No. Okay. Now, x equal to minus 11 by 3, which is what? Minus 3.67. All right. So this is when x is less than minus 3. Is this correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, guys, are you following? All right. So how many solutions are there?
Only one.
Only one. Okay. Just because I circled 4 doesn't mean they're all right. Okay. So check the condition here. So that's what I'm saying. It divides this into areas. Okay. You will get 4 solutions anyway, but then you have to cross check if they are correct. Okay, guys. All right. Now, okay. So let's get to the properties of modulus. So here it's saying that, oh yeah, we study this mod of x square. Sorry, root of x square is nothing but mod x itself. All right. This is the root of x square function, which is nothing but mod x. All right. Now, okay, these are like too obvious, the properties, like mod of mod x. Just there to confuse you, it's nothing but mod x. Okay. All right. So when I say mod of mod x, what will it be? It will be mod x when mod x greater than or equal to 0, and then minus of mod x when mod x less than 0. All right. Is this correct?
Yes, sir.
Anything wrong with this definition? Just check.
Yes, sir. It is wrong. Mod x can never be less than 0.
Okay. So it's like this is the part that should be removed. Why? Mod x can never be less than 0. Okay. So we are back to this place now. So then how do we define this? Mod x when mod x is greater than or equal to 0. Mod x is always greater than or equal to 0. All right. So then this becomes x or minus x when x is less than 0 and x is greater than or equal to 0. Got it? Mod x is always greater than or equal to 0. So you have to look for x only. You have to go one level below, and this turns out to be nothing but mod x. I hope you guys got this. Okay, any doubts here?
No, sir.
No, sir.
It's pretty obvious only. Okay, mod of mod x is mod x. Okay. Now, what they're saying here, mod of x square is less than or equal to a square. Then what happens here? One second, please. So, mod of x square is less than or equal to a square. What happens here? Okay. So the idea here is, let's draw x square. There's no mod of x square, sorry. When I say x square less than or equal to a square, what does it mean? Okay. You know the graph of x square? Do you know the graph of x square, guys?
Yes, sir.
Hmm?
Yes, sir.
What? How can you describe the graph of x square?
Parabola.
Upward parabola.
Upward facing parabola. Okay. Hmm? Any ax square plus bx plus c is an upward or a downward facing parabola. Okay, equal to 0. Equal to y is an upward facing or a downward facing parabola depending on the sign of a. Okay. When I say just x square, it definitely goes to the origin. And then it's an upward facing parabola because a is equal to 1. Okay. So this is less than or equal to a square. Suppose I say x square less than or equal to 16. What does it mean? I have to find the values of x, okay, where it is less than or equal to 16. What does that mean? Look at the graph. Are you following, guys, from the graph? What is happening? These are the values you should be interested in. Okay, because that is where it will be less than or equal to 16. And where does that happen? At what value of x?
Minus
It happens
4.
at minus 4 and 4. Okay. All right. So what does that mean here? If I get that x square is less than or equal to a square, it implies that x is between what?
Minus 4 to 4.
Yeah. So it'll be minus a to a. Got it? Okay. So the idea is the modulus of x should be less than or equal to the modulus of a. As simple as that. Got it? All right. Any doubts here?
No, sir.
All right. So when I say x square greater than or equal to a square, what could that mean? So I'm looking for x square, which will be greater than or equal to a square. Okay. All right. This and above. This and above. All right. I think this point is included and above. I wrote greater than or equal to. So what can I say about x? Where will x be? Guys, are you not following? Please ask, okay, if you're getting stuck or something, or any minute confusion is there, that's okay. The point here is to clarify everything. All right, guys. Like I don't want to be like a one-way channel. Like I'm just a radio where I'm speaking. You can speak back to me. All right. All right. Please ask your doubts as we are going along. So when x square is greater than or equal to a square, what am I talking about? It has to cross this barrier, right? All right. So it should go from a to infinity. Like supposing a is greater than 0. Okay, this is our assumption for both of these. If we take a greater than 0, then x is between like this. If a is less than 0, it will be what? Between a to minus a, because minus a will become positive if a is less than 0. Okay, that's the only change here. Now, here x is between a to infinity, or where else? It can be on this branch. What is this branch?
Minus a to minus infinity.
Minus infinity to minus a, both included. Did you understand what is happening here? When I say x square greater than 15 or 6, when I say x square greater than 144, what does it mean? Where is x? Tell me that.
If
12
12 to
to
infinity
infinity and then minus to minus infinity.
Square greater than 144, greater than equal to 144. So it will go from 12 to infinity and minus 12 to minus infinity. So think like this. Its magnitude will be greater than 12. Okay. That's the idea, right? From this. All right. So from this, you can say that the magnitude of x will be less than or equal to the magnitude of a. Just put it that way. And here you can say that the magnitude of x will be greater than or equal to magnitude of a. That is the side conclusion here. Okay, got it? All right.
Yes, sir.
I hope
Yes,
you guys
sir.
got this. Okay. And please respond more. It's early in the morning, it's easy to go back to sleep right now. That's right. So now, what is being said here? Otherwise, a square. Okay, so we'll add more conditions to this. So what happens when x square is between a square and b square? What happens here? So you look at it as two separate conditions. One is that x square greater than a square. What can you say here? Mod x is greater than mod a. Got it? Are you following, guys?
Yes, sir.
Now, if I say x square less than b square, so these are two separate conditions here, okay? One condition here and one condition here, x square less than b square. What does this say? Mod x is
Less than mod.
less than mod b, as simple as that. Okay. So you know how to say it in other words. I want you to think in both ways at the same time. That's the idea. Okay. The other term is what? It goes from a to infinity. Sorry, a is not included because there's no equal to sign. The second is an equal to sign. This will be a close bracket. Okay. So a is not included and minus infinity to minus a. And here, what
Minus
happens
B
in
to B.
between? Minus b to b. Good, good, good. All right. But what are they saying? This and this are happening at the same time. So this has to intersect, like this answer has to intersect with this answer. Okay. So what do you say here? What's the easiest way of saying this? Mod x is between the mods of a and b. Got it? That's it. And if you say a and b is less than, is greater than 0, you don't even need the modulus sign here. Following?
Yes, sir.
I'll give an example if you're not understanding fully. Like if I say 9 less than x square less than or equal to 16, what can you say about x? Where is x? Come on. Where is x?
4 to 3 to 4.
That's it, huh?
And then -3 to -4.
Exactly. All right. So I'll show you the long method. One is 9 less than x square. What you can do here is you can write this as x square minus 9 greater than 0. Got it? This is the first one. Okay. The second one is 16 greater than or equal to x square. Now you can say x square minus 16 less than or equal to 0. That's the second one. Are you getting this, guys? Okay, so let's look at the first equation. First equation says x minus 9, x square minus 9 greater than 0. So you remember wavy curve method we learned last time?
Yes,
People?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so what do you do here? Mark the points. 3, minus 3. All right. And then you know how the graph goes. From here, it will start with positive. Here it will be negative. Here it will be positive. And you know it's a quadratic already. Okay. Okay, so I'm just saying wavy curve to recap last sessions. This thing. When is it greater than 0? From 3 to infinity and minus infinity to minus 3. Basically, whenever what? What is the other way I taught right now? Mod x is greater than 3. Got it? It's the same thing. It's the same thing here. All right, but just different approaches to get the same answer. Okay, guys. I hope you're following this. Now, x square minus 16 is less than or equal to 0. What happens here, guys? You get minus 4, x plus 4 less than or equal to 0. So, what will happen in this figure? It will change to minus 4. Okay, so this becomes minus 4 and this becomes plus 4. All right, so same figure, we'll put it. Okay, so then what can you say? This will be between minus 4 and 4. Okay. Now, what is common between both? So you see that minus 4 is here and 4 is here. For the pink part, we took the areas beyond this. Okay. So pink part 3 onwards is the solution. Okay. For the pink part, this is the solution. For the colorful part, which is the solution? minus 4 to 4. Okay. What is common to both? Guys, what is common to both?
-4 and 4.
3 and 4 and -3 and 4.
-4 to -3.
Exactly.
3 and
Minus 4 to minus 3. And then 3
3 to 4.
to 4. Can you help me fill the blanket? Blanks? Can you help me fill in the blanks?
Square bracket.
Square bracket here.
Open it.
Oh, open at 3, yeah?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Correct. 3 should be open and 4 should be closed. Just see where 4 is coming from. From the less than or equal to. Where is 3 coming from? It's just from the greater than. So 3 will be open and 4 will be closed. Right. I hope there are no doubts about this. Okay. So this is basically what all these are explaining basically. Right. And these are some pretty obvious things here. What are they saying here? Mod of xy is mod x into mod y. You know why it works also, right? If you have any doubts, please ask. Mod of x by y is just another form of multiplying by 1 by y. Okay, just think like this. Okay. Now, x plus y is greater than or equal to mod of mod x minus y. Look at x and y and x plus y. Like mod x. Okay, so in vectors, in the chapter vectors, I'm going to relate something that you might have not learned. Okay, in the chapter vectors, there is an x vector, there is a y vector, and there will be an x plus y vector. Like basically, you can do it for any triangle, right? There's a triangular law of addition. You must have learned that in physics, actually. Have you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, triangular law of addition. Right. So the idea here is, like, so this is just a condensed form of that. Okay, this is a 2D version. This is a 1D version of the same thing. 1D in the sense you're already on that line. Okay, real axis. On that you're dealing with this. Right. So but in the 2D version of this, it's nothing but in a triangle, the difference between two sides will be less than or equal to the third side. Okay, got it? Guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes.
The difference between two sides will be less than or equal to the third side. Okay. Now, the limiting case is when it is equal to third side. You know when that happens, right? When the 3 points are collinear. Okay, that's when this happens. Okay, so
Okay, sir.
mod x minus mod y will be equal to mod of x plus y, something like that. Got it? You can take any x plus y as a third side. That's the idea.
Yes, sir.
Right. So just make sure x and y go in the opposite directions. That's all. So there should be a subtraction happening, and then you'll get the limiting case. Now, x plus or minus y less than. So can you tell me the 2D version of this? The third side, x plus or minus y is also the third side. Even if you put minus y, y is going minus y will go like this, and x minus y is like this. Okay, it's not the same as this side, but it becomes the third side of this triangle. Okay, the length will be the same, but the vector is different. Right. So here we are dealing with length since we are talking about 1D. Now, x plus or minus y will be less than mod x plus mod y. What is it saying? Sum of two sides is greater than the third side. Okay. So when it's a line, it will be greater than or equal to. So here, sum of two sides will be a and b, and this will be the third side, which will be a plus b. Okay. Now, all right. Any doubts here, guys?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay, so this is one stupid property. I don't even know why we are learning this. Mod of x plus y equal to mod x plus mod y if they are of the same sign. Okay. Okay, so if I say 4 plus 3 equal to mod 4 plus mod 3. But if I say 4 minus 3, 4 plus minus 3, like suppose they are different things. 4 plus minus 3 will be what? 1. But on the RHS, what are you getting? You're still getting 7. You got it? Are you getting it?
Yes, sir.
Right. So this works like that. And now, I think a discussion on modulus is kind of complete. What we need to do next is we'll go for logarithmic functions. Right? Because log is something you will use in between again and again. So we'll just get that done with as part of the basics. Okay. So just add a page. All right. Okay, so before we start logarithms, I want to discuss a few things. Because it's a function, because logarithm is a function, I want you to know what a relation is, what a function is. Because we'll be starting the chapter anyway right after this. Okay. So before starting relation, we did set. You already completed sets, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did we do something called the Cartesian product? No, right?
Oh,
Okay. So guys, tell me, what could be a Cartesian product? You have two sets A and B. How do you find the Cartesian product of A and B? A has n elements, B has m elements.
A
What is
cross
the Cartesian?
B.
Yeah, tell me.
A cross B.
A, yeah, this is how it looks like. A cross B. All right. So suppose A is the set of all A's such that A is an element of A, okay? Or let's just take actual examples. This thing, A, B, and C. Okay. B is the idea, lambda, and phi. Okay, phi doesn't mean empty set here, it's just a placeholder here. All right. Got this? Okay. Even if it means empty set, also this logic will be valid. Right. So A equal to ABC, B equal to lambda and phi. What is A cross B? A cross B is when you take one element from A and one element from B. Okay. You take an A comma B. So you are making something called an ordered pair. All right. The order matters. Where you are saying A cross B. What is that? Where A is an element of A and B is an element of B. Okay. So any such combination in this particular order, where A is from A, the first element is definitely from the set A and the second element is definitely from the set B. Now, how many elements will be there like this? Like how many elements will be there in this set of the Cartesian product? 6. Correct. So what are the elements here? A lambda, A phi, then B lambda, B phi. Okay, C lambda, and then C phi. Are you following? All right. So what happens here, guys? A lambda, A phi, B lambda, B phi, C lambda, C phi. There are 6 elements here. Basically, this had 3 elements, this had 2 elements. 3 into 2 is 6. So whenever A has n elements, B has m elements, number of elements of A cross B will be m into n first. Okay. Now, what is a relation, guys? What is a relation? This is a Cartesian product. That's about it. What's a relation?
The set of all these ordered pairs.
Set of all these ordered pairs is the Cartesian product. The same thing. So these are this is the set of all these ordered pairs, right?
So there'll be some condition to satisfy within the ordered pairs.
What condition? What condition? What condition? No, I want you guys to think out aloud. Like, bring out the concepts you have in your head. Like, if it's wrong, we'll correct it. If it's right, we'll continue with it. So, guys, please speak up.
I'm not sure, sir.
That's okay. Yes, that's what I want from you guys. Okay, whatever you're thinking first, I want it out. So that if it's wrong, we can correct it immediately. That's the point of teaching, right? Okay, so I need some more active participation, but okay. So it's okay if you don't know it. Like relation is nothing but any subset of A cross B. All right, relation nothing but any subset of A cross B. Got this? So you pick any number of elements from this, you have a relation. Got this? Okay. All right. So any subset of A cross B. Now, can you tell me how many relations can be drawn on this set? On this set A cross B, how many relations can you draw?
6.
Not on the set A cross B. How many relations can you draw from A to B? That will be the question. Okay. From A to B, how many relations can you draw? 6 is wrong. 6 is the number of elements in the Cartesian product. Okay. A relation is any subset of this Cartesian product. All right. So when you say Cartesian product here, how many elements does the Cartesian product have? How many elements does it have? M into N. Okay.
So 2 power
Is it
6.
2 power 6?
2 power 6.
Thank you. Very good. Very good. Now you guys are thinking. Now the blood is flowing. Good, good, good. Excellent. All right. Now, A cross B is here. All right. So, any set A with M elements and B with N elements. Okay. How many relations can you draw from A to B?
2 power mn.
Mn. Okay. That's it. Relations is done. Okay. A special case of relation will be function. All right. Okay, that we'll be getting into the chapter. But do you know what 1, 1 on 2 all of that is?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Anybody who doesn't know? Okay, I'm going to continue with this. Now, logarithm is a function. Okay. And when I say logarithm is a function, let's take log A to the base B. Okay, when I say log A to the base B equal to M, what do I mean by that? Is what can this mean? What does it mean, guys? Mails keep popping up. I have to OCD. So, what do you do here? Log A to the base B equal to M. What do you do here? A equal to
M power B.
M power. B power.
B,
Oh, B power N. Sorry.
Okay. So, when I say log A to the base B, the question becomes, this B is the base. Okay. A is the quantity here. So, the base, how many times should I multiply the base by itself to get A? That is the question. Got it? All right. Whenever I say log A to the base B equal to M, it means how many times should I multiply the base by itself to reach the value A is? Okay. And the function looks pretty interesting too. All right. So when I say log A to the base B, I will get something like this whenever B is greater than 1. Okay, but yeah, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. So log A to the base B. What are the conditions to define any log A to the base B? There are a few conditions. Okay. One is that A should be positive. What's the second one? B should also be positive. Okay. All right. So the thing is, if B is negative, what will happen? No, sorry, if A is negative, what will happen?
Not defined.
Exactly, it won't be defined. It's not even defined for log, but if you have to make a guess what will happen, like if you take -5 and then 2 here, 2 raised to something will give me -5. That something has to be what? Some weird imaginary number, right? 2 raised to something should give -5. Is that even possible?
No, sir.
No.
In a real sense, like the real number line, that sense, okay, that is not possible. Okay, 2 power something will be minus 5, no chance. Now, b is greater than 0. Again, if b is negative, a similar problem happens. Okay. Now, there is another condition also along with this for b. What is that? B should not be equal to 1. Why?
First we get 1 every time.
Exactly. You just replace this with 1. Like 1, you multiply with it how many times? You will only get 1. You won't get any other A. Okay. And it's not like it gives one answer. 1 raised to 1 is 1. 1 raised to 2 is 1. 1 raised to, you name a number, that is also 1. Okay. All right. So, B should not be 1, 2. Okay. So, remember this. These are basically 2 conditions. I'm just splitting it into 3. Okay. This is the condition. This is the condition for B. This is the condition for A. Okay. All of you got this? Any doubts here?
No, sir.
No.
Log is fine so far. Right. So yeah. So I'll be using this book for questions for logarithm. This is a book by Amit M. Agarwal, the Arihant book. Right. So if you need more practice questions, all these books are available online. Okay, you can find them online. Find the PDFs online. So I had the hard copy since I was studying in school. So yeah, it's with me. So we'll do some properties of logarithms. Okay. But before that, we'll get to the graph. The graph says again log a to the base b, and these are the different values of a. This is log a to the base b, which is y, and this dx. All right. So this is how the graph goes when b is greater than 1. Okay. So let's just deal with b greater than 1 cases. Let's put b equal to 2 and see what happens. Let's just tabulate the values. Log 2 to the base 2. What is it? 2 raised to what is 2? Think like that.
1.
Okay. Okay. Log 4 to the base 2 is
2.
why? 2 raised to something is 4, and that something is 2. Okay. Log 1 by 2 to the base 2. Guys?
Minus 1?
Exactly. 2 raised to minus 1 is what, guys? It's 1 by 2. That's it. Okay. Log 1 by 16 to the base 2.
Minus
1 by 4.
4.
Minus 4. It's not 1 by 4. It's minus 4. 2 raised to minus 4 is 1 by 2 power 4. As simple as that. So then only you will get 1 by 16. I'm writing at the edge of the screen. All right. So can you see this properly, guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So log works like this. And so when we increase the value here, log 2, 4, and if I put 8, it will become 3. If I put 16, it will become 4. You can see that the RHS also increases like accordingly, not proportionally, accordingly. Okay. All right. Now here, what about this one here? When I put 1 by 2, it becomes minus 1. When I put 1 by 4, it becomes minus 2. When I put 1 by 8, it becomes minus 3, and so on. So this goes on till, where does this go on till?
Minus infinity.
Yeah, it just goes on. Like, that is what you can see in the graph. It goes till minus infinity here. Where does it cross this? When you say log a to the base 2 equal to 0. What does this mean? Log a to the base 2 is equal to 0. It just means that 2 raised to some 0 is equal to a. Got it? You can find the value of a here, right? A is nothing but 1. You get this?
Yes.
You got this, right? So, whenever I say log a to the base b, it will always go through a equal to 1. Okay. And you get the value of 0 only at this point. So, other log x will go like this. Alright, there'll be other log x's and all. Okay, which will go like this. Log c to the base b, log d to the base b, and so on. So, sorry. Log a to the base c, log a to the base d. Like other graphs, all of them will go through this same point. Alright. Okay, so when you change the base, the shape of the graph will change a little bit. Okay, but then all of them will go through this singular point, 1, 0. Are you all following?
Yes, sir.
Right. Now, tell me, what are the values of a here? It will be greater than 1. Okay, you can see that whenever I get a positive value on the RHS, it will be greater than 1. All right, I get 0 at 1. Okay, when do I get negative values? When do I get negative values?
Reciprocal.
When it's yes, that's a very nice answer. When you put the reciprocal of that number. Okay, when you put the reciprocal, what happens? It becomes the value. Look, when you take a value greater than 1 and take its reciprocal, what will happen to that value? When you take a value greater, let me convert that into math. Let's see if we can solve it that way. When you take a value greater than 1 and then convert into reciprocal, where will the value lie? Right? Okay. So now we can split this into two cases if we are dividing by x. When x is negative, I can say that 1 by x, what? Greater than 1. Okay. Sorry. What am I doing here?
Sir, 1 by x should be less than 1.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. But I'm writing here x greater than 1 and I'm writing next x less than 0. Okay, that was the mistake. When x is greater than 0, then only there'll be a connect. When x is less than 0, x can't be greater than 1. Okay, so I'm looking for 1 by x, right? So I'm trying to bring 1 by x by dividing it by x. So there'll be two cases here, x less than 0 and x greater than 0. X less than 0, I can neglect directly because I'm only looking at x greater than 1. Now, x greater than 0, what will happen? I'll divide by x on both sides. So 1 by x will be less than 1. And you know 1 by x is always positive because x is already positive. Okay. So the idea here is that 1 by x will be between 0 and 1. Any doubts here, guys?
Oh.
All right. So, yeah, let's. Okay. Now, this is for the graph of log x. Now, what happens to the same graph of log a to the base b when b is between 0 and 1? When b is between 0 and 1, we get a graph like this. Okay. So this is when b is between 1 and 0. And then this is when b is greater than 1. All right. So remember the graph. Okay, guys. All right. So log x, when the base is greater than 1, goes like this. Log x, when the base is less than 1, goes like this. What are we talking about? Let's jump to the properties and then find out what's happening. Okay. All right. So the first property I'm going to take is log. Wait. Log a to the base a will be
1.
1. Log 1 to the base a. So all of this, it's assumed a is not equal to 1 because it's in the base and a is positive. All right. It's assumed here. Now log 1 to the base a will be
0.
0. A raised to something is 1. A raised to that something will be 0. A raised to something is a. So that something is 1. Like that. Right. Second one. Log ab to the base m to any base m can be written as log a to the base b, a to the base m, sorry, plus log b to the base m. Guys, this is the reason why log is so useful in daily life, okay? Not like you use it every day in daily life, but this is the reason why log is so widely used. All right. You can see this multiplication here, right? AB, log of AB becomes what? It becomes log of A plus log of B. So when a system does a calculation, when you type in a calculation on your computer, a big multiplication, some billion multiplied by some billion, it returns the correct answer quickly. How does it do it so quickly? You know the idea of multiplication, right? You have to repeatedly add numbers. And when you add huge numbers repeatedly, like basically multiplying two huge numbers, you should expect it to take a lot of processing time. But the computer really doesn't take much time. One is the computational speed. Nowadays, the computers are very fast. But not just that. There are techniques used to lower the time. And one of that is log. Okay. So what is happening here? A complex, a tough multiplication can be turned into a simple addition process. Okay. Like suppose I say log 10 to the base 1000 into 10,000. Okay. Sorry. 1000 into 10,000. How will I write this? Like according to this, I will write this as log 1000 plus log 10,000. All right. And what is here?
3.
This is 3, and this is 4, and this is 7. So what the computer does is, it simply converts, instead of calculating this value and then finding the log of it. Okay. The question you will be doing is, on the computer, you will just be multiplying this. Okay. Background, what will happen is, he'll take the log, he'll add both of them up. All right. Convert it into a simple addition process. Get 7, and then take anti-log of that. That will be 10 power 7. We are going backwards that way. So then he'll return the answer 10 power 7 very quickly in front of you. Okay, so this is a silly example. The examples that are valid for the situation are much bigger. But I hope you can get the idea of scale here. Okay. So instead of multiplying all this, they just convert it into a simple 3 plus 4. Yes. All right, which is much easier to calculate. And so, yeah, that's for multiplication. Then log of A by B base n. What does this become? Guys, you've done log before, right? In 11th.
Yes, sir.
It's not, I don't think it's there in your NCERT book, but sure you've done log in your 11th. If you haven't, please tell me now. I'll explain like accordingly. I'm assuming you know this before. And still I'm teaching slowly in my head. All right. So, guys, is this a new topic? Can any of you respond?
No, sir. It's not a new topic.
Okay. All right. Good. No. So, this also doesn't require much explanation, right? Because what is happening is that I write it as log A into 1 by B. All right. So this will be nothing but log A to the base m plus log 1 by B to the base m. Are you following? Okay. And this 1 by B is nothing but B power minus 1. All right. Which will bring us to our fourth property, which is log A to the base m. Okay. To the base, so log A raised to m to the base B will be what? M into log A to the base B. What is happening here? This A power m will be written as A into A m times. We are taking log of this. All right. So what will you do? What will you end up doing? You'll take log A and add it to the next log A. Add it to the next log A. How many times? M times. Okay. And this comes up to m log A. Did you get this?
Yes, sir.
All right. So back to the previous one. What happens here? Log m to the base, log b raised to minus 1 to the base m. What happens here?
Minus log b base m.
This minus 1 goes off here, okay, as m, okay. So this power can be brought out. Think like that, all right? This power can be brought out here. But this property becomes much more interesting when you see what you can do with the base, all right? So A is there. Suppose it was b power n. How would you write this? You can take this power out as the denominator. Are you following? Are you getting this? You can take this power and put it as the denominator. So then this becomes 1 by n log a to the base b. So I'll give you a silly question. A power m, b power n equal to what?
Log a by b.
Log a to the base b. That's it. Okay, m will come from the numerator. All right. This will come out here. This goes. This will come out here. Okay. This also goes. Thing is, they cancel out. Okay. And then you get log a to the base b. Let's move to the next problem. All right. So, log a to the base b can be written as 1 by log b to the base a. All right. So, this is actually based on another property. Like it's easier to explain that. I can write log a to the base b as log a to the base m by log b to the base m. Okay, where m is positive and not equal to 1. The main condition is satisfied there. Okay, whenever I said all this, it was implied that a and b are positive and the base will always not be equal to 1. Okay, so here, if you say log a to the base b, you can change the base. Okay, you can change the base to whatever you want as long as it's positive and not equal to 1. All right. So when you change the base here, okay, when you change the base here, you can split it as a quotient of 2 parts. Okay, so you can write log a separately and log b separately. Add any base you want, anything you want. All right. Now, log a to the base b equal to 1 by log b to the base a. How do you write this? So, log a to the base b, I write it as log a to the base m by log b to the base m. Okay. Now, I will bring this to the denominator of the denominator. So, I like that 1 by log b divided by log a, both to the base m. Is this making sense, guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then use this property here backwards. Okay. What happens here? Log a to the base m divided by log b to the base m equal to log a to the base b. So in this case, what will it be? The denominator. Just look at the denominator. This will become log b to the base a. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, moving on to the next one. Okay. Now, things might get a little more interesting for you guys. A to the base log m to the base a will be equal to what? Will be equal to m. Can you tell me why? Log m to the base a is here. All right. So this log m to the base a, I'll call it k. What does this imply? That a raised to k will be m, right? Are you following?
Yes, sir.
Okay. That a raised to k will be m here. What does that even mean? Replace k with what we did. What is k here? Log m to the base a. Okay. So, as an example, e raised to log to the base e7 or root 7 or root 2 or e or pi, whatever it is, will be equal to the same thing. Or some 2e raised to 2e. Like you put any number here, just that the base and this here should be the same. Okay. Once it's the same, it's this number on top. Think like that also, that'll work. Right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, I hope you got this. If you have any doubts, please stop me and ask, okay? I'm assuming that you will stop me whenever you have a doubt and I'm continuing the class.
Sir, excuse me, I'm sorry.
Tell me.
We have like school presentation today at 8 o'clock, so they've called us to come. Very sorry, I'll catch up for the rest of the class using the recordings. So.
Okay, not an issue. Everybody's from the same school?
No, sir, I'm from a different school.
All right. So your class starts at 8, huh?
Yeah, just for today, sir.
Okay. Guys, one question I had. Do you mind if I shift the class to 6:45?
No, sir.
It's fine.
Like next class onwards?
Yes.
It's fine.
Right. Like 15 minutes only I'm trying to extend. So that in case something like this happens, we can still manage finishing the portion. That's it. Right. But do watch the video and ask me doubts whenever you get. Okay?
Sure, sir. Thank you, sir.
No problem. Yeah. Thank you. Now, look at our next property. A raised to log b to the base c. Okay, this is base changing property. A raised to log b to the base c equal to b raised to log a to the base c. Okay, so how do you prove this? Take log on both sides. As simple as that, okay? What happens here? Take log to the base c on both sides. What do we get? We take log to the base c on both sides. We get log to the base c. Okay. Log to the base c and log to the base c. Are you following?
Yes, sir.
And this power comes out. What happens? They become a product of two terms, log a into log b, right?
Yes, sir.
So this part is taken care of, right? But remember that if you get like 7 raised to log come up with a better example. If I get 81 raised to log and 3 only, yeah, I'll have to use some multiple of 3. So if I get something like this, or 9 to the base 9, like we know what 9 to the base 9 is. We can write this as like the reverse of the question I want to ask. 9 raised to log what? 81 to the base 9. Are you following? This and this can be interchanged. Okay, that's the idea here. All right. Are you getting this?
Yes, sir.
What can be interchanged here?
The 9 and 81.
Yeah. All right. So this A and B can be interchanged. So just write that property properly in your notes. Log b to the base c equal to log a to the base c. No. What am I even writing? So b raised to log a to the base c, a raised to log b to the base c. All right. Now let's go to the next topic, which is inequalities. Okay. We'll be doing questions based on this in the next class mostly, because this might take a little bit of time to explain. Log x to the base m is greater than log y to the base m. What happens here, guys? We'll draw the graph and on this. Okay. They're saying, so let's assume m is greater than 1. We get this graph. Okay. So log x to the base m greater than log y to the base m. What happens with x and y? So if log x to the base m and log y to the base m are somewhere here and here, this is where x will be, and this is where y should be, right? What can you say from this? If m is greater than 1, x is greater than y. Why? This is an increasing function. The higher value of this will lead to the higher value of the function itself. That's why it's an increasing function. Did you get this?
Yes, sir.
Did you understand why x will be greater than y? Now, when m is between what? 0 and 1, what happens? The graph itself changes. Okay, the graph becomes like this. And then when I say log of x is greater than or equal to log of y. Okay, so we'll take one x in the positive side and y in the negative side. It's easier. Okay, so log of x will be greater than log of y. So which means this is y and this is x. Which is greater? Here, opposite thing happens. Y becomes greater than x. Are you following? When m is between 0 and 1, you look at this graph. Okay, the log x graph to the base m. So what happens is that you take 2 points on this. 2 different points. One will be greater than the other. But you notice that this is a function that is reducing. So as the value of x increases, the value of the function keeps on decreasing. Okay, so that is why you can see the sign flip here. Any doubts here, guys?
No, sir.
Right. Guys, I've been drawing the figure badly. You can ask me, okay, please. I can't see the figure properly. I've been doing this on purpose for the last 2 figures. Okay, last 1 figure mainly. This one came out like this. But yeah, we'll move on to the next property now. So we are on 10. Now, yeah, this is my favorite property actually. Log m a is less than b. What does this imply? When I say log a to the base m is equal to b, what does this imply? Guys, come on, answer this. Log a to the base m is equal to b. What happens next? Come on. You get?
A equal to m power b.
Exactly, m power b equal to a. Correct. A equal to m power b. Same thing. All right. So now, what can you do here? What does this imply? We'll have to find that out. Okay. So, log a to the power m is less than b. What does this imply? Actually, this figure will be useless for this. So, when log a to the power m is less than b, what does this mean? It means that there will be 2 cases. Okay, guys, be very careful here. Case 1 is a is less than b power m. Sorry. I'm even writing. I'm used to writing b here as the base. Okay, that's why this confusion is happening constantly.
A
Now,
less than m power b.
M power b. Okay. Now, the case 2 that will happen is a greater than m power b. Now, when does what happen? This happens when m is greater than 1. Okay. This happens when it's an increasing function. M is greater than 1, you know the graph. It goes like this. Okay. All right. So, whenever I say log a to the power b, log a to the base m is less than b. All right. Whenever I say log a to the base m is less than b, then it just means that a power, like as in this m power b, will be greater than a itself. All right, this way. Or think like this. You're using m power b here. You're putting everything down here. All right. This sign does not change if m is greater than 1. Okay. And here, if m is between 0 and 1, what happens? The sign flips. That's all. Did you get this? Did you get this, guys?
Yes, sir.
If you don't get it, please ask. Okay. Right. Anyway. log m to the base a is greater than b will give you two cases. What are the two cases here? A is greater than m power b and a is less than m power b. Which is which case? You tell me. What is case 1?
0 to 1.
Case 1, m is between 0 to 1. Case 2,
M greater than.
m greater than 1. Why is it wrong? Okay, it's wrong, it's wrong. It became opposite. Look, remember this. A to the base m greater than b. Okay, here what was it before? A to the base m less than b, less than or equal to. So if it's less than or equal to, what you do is you put that less than or equal to sign here. That's it. If it's greater than or equal to, you put that sign here, put the equal to sign also. That's the only difference. Okay. Now, what is happening here? Just remember this, when m greater than 1, it's an increasing function, it behaves normally, the sign does not flip. Okay. All right. Sign remains the same. Here, when m is between 0 and 1, what happens here?
Becomes a fractional value, so a
Becomes a, yeah, correct. It becomes a fractional value. All right. So that actually makes the sign flip. As simple as that. Okay. Did you get this?
yes, sir.
Okay. So we'll be trying to apply this in as many places as possible. That is my objective of teaching you logarithms. Okay. Because the rest of the properties you already knew actually. So yeah. You know what a domain is of a function?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So function has an input. Function acts like a machine which takes an input and gives an output. So suppose one example is root x function. What are the inputs you can give? You can give any
Yeah, number.
non-negative real number.
Positive real number.
Okay. And what is the output you'll get if you put non-negative real numbers?
Non-negative real number.
Exactly. Same thing here. Okay. Right. Okay. So that's one example. So domain is the set of inputs you can give. So you have a machine. What all you can feed into the machine is the domain. What all that machine can eat is the domain. What all the machine gives out, what all the machine can come up with or spit out is the range or the output in this case. All right. So this is non-negative. So yeah, this is about the functions. Now let's solve one simple question. Find the domain. Log 10, 1 minus x plus root of x plus 2. Okay, what do we do here? How do you find the domain of this question? What are they asking here for the? Guys, come on. Answer. What are they asking for?
Domain.
Find the domain. What does that mean? All the values of x you can put into this. Right? So let's look at a part we are familiar with first.
1 minus x should be greater than 0.
1 minus x should be
Greater than 0.
greater than 0.
Yes, sir.
Yes. You can start with that condition. So, wait, what did I write here? Okay. 1 by log 1 minus x. Okay. So, we'll be starting with this part actually. Root of x plus 2. Because that is familiar. Okay. So, we know that x plus 2. What do we know? That it has to be greater than or equal to 0. Are you following, guys?
Yes, sir.
So x greater than equal to minus 2. Mark it out. Keep it aside now. Now let's look at this part. Okay, we'll be looking at this part now. What happens here? 1 minus x. Okay, so 1 minus x has to be positive. What are the conditions for log? Let's just practice all that in one go. 10 is greater than 0. Check. And then 10 is not equal to 1. Okay, check. This is how you, if you look at any log, these are the first 3 things you should think about. All right. Is the thing there 1 minus x greater than 0? Is the base positive? Is the base not equal to 1? All of that you have to check whenever you see a log. Alright. Okay. Now, 1 minus x greater than 0, what does that feed me? X is,
Less than 1.
okay, x is less than 1. Now, is there any other condition that we have to check? Yes.
No, sir.
X greater than minus 2, x less than 1. Your answer will be minus 2 comma 1, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Why is it wrong now?
Sir,
What? Right. Yes.
Sir, because
denominator should not be
the
0.
denominator.
Lovely. Excellent. Okay. We have the denominator here. Okay. So this denominator, log 10, log to the base 10, 1 minus x, should not be 0. What on earth does that mean? 1 minus x should not be 10 power 0, which means 1 minus x should not be 1. In other words, x should not be 0. So your actual answer will be this. Okay. X should not be 0. So 0 lies between this. So we have to remove that point from it. Okay. So your answer will then become minus 2 comma 0. Right. Union 0 comma 1. Got it? Any doubts here?
No, sir.
Looking at the next question. Okay, we'll solve a little tougher question. Yeah. X equal to log of sin x into x square minus 8x minus 3. Okay. This bracket is to show that everything is inside log. It's not tracking for a function. And yeah, let's begin the problem. Come on. Find the domain. Find the domain. That's the same question. Okay. Find the domain, guys. Come on.
1 minute, sir.
Hmm?
So I said 1 minute.
1 by 2.
1 minute, sir.
1 minute. Okay. Okay, I'll solve along with you because not waste too much time. Okay, the first condition I would do is this entire thing should be positive. Right? Log of sin x square minus 8x plus 23 minus 3 by to the base 2. It should be strictly positive. Okay, because this whole thing comes under the log part. Okay, so here this entire thing has to be positive. Now, this here, I notice that this is the base here. Okay, this one here is the base over here. All right. So what do? I would like to convert this to the base so that I can manipulate both of them together. Are you following? This log, this term A and term B, to bring them together and try to make them into the same base. All right. Guys, I really want you to solve faster than I am. Yeah, 10 minutes. What did you say?
Sir, this means that the first term should be greater than the second term.
Yes, that's definitely one way of looking at it. The first term should be greater than second term. Yes, yes.
So you solve for whatever is defined for the right term, and then say that the left term should be greater than that.
No, but then when you put a greater than symbol, you still have to keep solving, right? Like with the mod sin x.
Oh, yes,
How do you
sir.
continue solving it?
So I thought you have to do it one by one.
No, you don't need to. That's the idea of that mod sin x being in this part, being over here and here. Okay. So the thing is, the second I convert it into base, what can I do? If I bring the power up, what will happen? I'll get log 8
Base sin x.
okay,
Mod sin
sin x. And then this thing will also be there. Okay. Log of x square minus 8x plus 23.
Oh,
And
now
sin
you
x.
find this one.
So now it just becomes so much easier, right? All right. You get the point of doing all this. You have to manipulate the terms you have to get it into a form you want to get it in. All right. So you notice that, okay, there's a 3 here, there's a coefficient here. If I convert that to 1, I am sorted. I can just, this is log A minus log B scenario. Simple. What is it? Log A minus B. X square minus 8x plus 23 by 8. And then base will be mod sin x should be strictly positive. Now, we learned some 11th and 12th property, right? That inequality. Guys, trust me, that property is very, very, very useful. So, the base here, M, the base is what?
Mod sin x.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, try to solve from here. You should be able to get the answer. You're almost there. That complicated, the initial part is just the person who's setting the question trying to scare you into not even trying it. It just looks complicated. You won't even feel like trying it. And then they want you to give up. But you have to look through it, figure out what the manipulations are, execute them, and you'll get into this form. From here, we'll be practicing the concept we learned. Okay. 11th and 12th property. Use it wisely.
Sir, is it something like mod sin x power 0 is equal to x square minus 8x plus 23?
I'm not sure. We'll find out. Okay. So what we'll do is this mod sin x, the base has to be positive. Okay. And is mod sin x positive? Always. Don't worry.
Yes, sir.
But mod sin x can be 0, right?
Yes, sir.
Sin x is 0.
Okay. Okay. So let that be anyway. So we know that mod sin x is between 0 and 1. Any doubts here?
No, sir.
We are dealing with that case here. All right.
Yes, sir.
What is happening here? When you apply that case, the sign flips. Don't forget that. When I say log a to the base b is greater than m, it just means that a is greater than b raised to m when
M is
b is in this case the base is b. Okay. When I was teaching, the base was m. I'm just confusing you guys now. All right.
yes,
But I want you to think of the concept. The concept is what you should remember.
okay.
Okay. So a greater than b raised to m. So what does that say here?
B greater than 1.
B greater than 1, exactly. When b is between 0 and 1, that is when the sign just flips. Okay. So that is the property we learned right now. Okay. So we can go to this x square minus 8x plus 23 by 8 is greater than what sign for 0? Okay. And this is nothing but 1. All right. Guys, are you following?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now I simply cross multiply by 8. So I get x square minus 8x plus 23 greater than 8. Okay. So this will become 0. If I take it to this side, it will become 15. Any doubts here, guys?
No, sir.
Okay. So I get x minus 3 into x minus 5 greater than 0. Guys, you have done quadratics before. You know how to do this. 3 is here, 5 is here. When is it positive? When x is between
5 to infinity.
Infinity minus
Three.
infinity to 3. So,
You guys notice a mistake here? No, I was genuinely solving it. Then now only I recognize the mistake. That's why I'm asking now. Suddenly. Guys, we forgot to flip the sign. Okay. We decided that mod sin x will be between 0 and 1. So the sign will flip. Don't forget. Okay. All right. So since we forgot to do that, we'll just correct that right now. Okay, this will be less than 0. This will be less than 0. Okay. So now what happens is that it's not 3 comma 5 anymore. Sorry, it is 3 comma 5 now. Right. X is between 3 and 5. Guys,
Yes, sir.
this would be in the options. Is this the answer?
No, sir. X
Why?
should be
What did we miss out?
minus set of n pi.
Hmm?
Minus set of n pi.
Minus set of n pi. How do you get n pi?
Sin x is equal to 0.
Lovely.
You only
Lovely.
equals it.
Okay. All right. No, but you paid attention. Okay. I've been telling the answer from the beginning. Okay. I've actually given enough clues throughout the question. All right. So, mod sin x equal to 0. What are the values of x that can fetch you this? Sin pi is equal to 0. Sin 2 pi is equal to 0. Any other pi is equal to 0? Sin 0 is equal to 0. And so on. Minus pi is equal to 0. But between 3 and 5, what is there?
Pi.
There's only pi. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So I remove pi from 3 and 5. Okay. That's it, right?
Yes, sir.
yes, sir.
Okay. This will also be there in the options. Is this the right answer? To everybody else. Is this the answer, guys? No one. No, it's
Yes,
not.
sir.
It's not. This will be there in the options for sure. The option will start like this. A will be 3 comma 5 because that is the first thing they want you to see. B will be 3 comma 5 minus pi. Mostly that'll be how it is because this is how you'll make mistakes. Right? They're expecting the mistake, putting it in the options. When you see it, you'll confirm your mistake and pick it. So here, what is there? We forgot one thing, guys. The base should not be equal to 1. We realize that base should be positive. That was taken care of by the mod of sin x. The base should not be 0. That also we took care of it. Base should not be 1. Okay, equal to 1. Which are the points?
5 by 2.
5 by 2.
3 pi by 2.
3 pi by 2.
5 pi by 2.
N pi by 2. No.
N pi by 2. Basically, yeah, exactly. N pi by 2. So, what is in between here?
3 pi by 2.
3 pi by 2 leaves the scenario. Okay. And that should be your final answer. 3 pi by 2 is deleted. Pi is also deleted from 3 comma 5. That's your answer. Okay.
Yes.
Did you get this problem?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did you enjoy the problem?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Right.
sir.
Yeah, I want you to have fun while solving, okay? Because this is going to be a long process, JEE. Right? You have to keep solving. And for you to actually do that, you have to start enjoying at some point. Right? Now,
Sir, sorry to interrupt. I have my midterm exam in like 5 minutes, sir, and I have to join the meeting right now.
Okay. Guys, take care. I'll end the class now. We'll practice more problems in the next class. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
And all the best
Sorry,
for your
sir.
exam. Which subject?
Yeah, thank you, sir. English, sir, but we have to go and read the question paper. It's out now.
Kill it, man. Hopefully it'll be
Thank
easy.
you, sir.
All right. Yeah. Do well. Okay, guys.
Thank
So
you, sir.
I'll end the class like 5 minutes early, but next class come 15 minutes earlier. All right.
Okay, sir. Sure, sir.
Okay.
Okay, we'll take care of all these scenarios. Yeah.
Okay, sir.
Take care,
Thank you,
guys.
sir.
Have fun. And yeah, kill your exam. Okay,
Thank you,
stay
sir.
on. Bye.
Thank you.